Welcome, sleepy soul. I'm your storyteller tonight, here to help you drift into deep, peaceful sleep. Before we begin, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more bedtime stories. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is, and if there's a story you'd like to hear next, I'd love to know that too. When I was 15, I hated staying home alone. My mom worked the night shift at a nursing home, and my dad had been out of the picture for years. So whenever she had a long shift, I'd invite a friend to sleep over. It made the house feel less empty. That weekend, it was my best friend, Marissa. We'd known each other since second grade, the kind of friendship where you finish each other's sentences and laugh at the same dumb jokes. She brought her overnight bag, a stack of DVDs, and a bag of Sour Patch Kids. We did all the usual sleepover stuff, painted our nails, whispered about the boys in our class, and dared each other to text people we shouldn't. By midnight, we had run out of things to do, so we put on a horror movie. Neither of us admitted it, but the shadows in the house already felt heavier. At some point, I noticed the porch light flicker through the living room blinds. I got up to check, but the bulb steadied again. I told myself it was nothing. By 1:30, Marissa had fallen asleep on the couch, her face lit by the blue glow of the TV. I was still awake, scrolling on my phone, when I heard it. 3 soft knocks at the back door. I froze. Nobody ever used that door. Not neighbors, not delivery people. Nobody. The back of the house opened to a stretch of woods that went on for miles. The knocks came again. This time, slower. Deliberate. I shook Marissa awake, whispering frantically, "Someone's at the door." She blinked at me, half asleep, and laughed nervously. "It's probably the wind," she muttered, but even she sounded unsure. Then we both heard it. A voice, low, male, coming from the other side of the glass. "Let me in." My stomach dropped. Marissa's eyes widened and she sat up, clutching the blanket to her chest. The voice came again, a rasping whisper. "I know you're awake." I ran to the kitchen and grabbed the biggest knife I could find. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped it. Marissa was frozen on the couch, whispering, "Call your mom. Call your mom." But my phone had no signal. Our house was just far enough from town that it always cut out late at night. We didn't move. For what felt like hours, we just sat there in silence, listening. Every few minutes, we'd hear the faint sound of footsteps circling the house, slow and careful, like whoever it was didn't want to leave. Finally, the noises stopped. By 4 a.m., exhaustion overtook us, and we collapsed into a restless sleep. When my mom got home at sunrise, I ran to tell her what happened. She brushed it off, saying we'd scared ourselves with movies. But when I followed her into the kitchen, I saw her stop suddenly. Her eyes locked on the back door. There, just beneath the handle, were deep scratches in the wood, as if someone had been trying, patiently, persistently, to get inside. I was 14 the night it happened. My best friend Haley invited me to a sleepover at her place. It wasn't unusual. Her parents were the type to buy us pizza, rent movies, and then disappear upstairs while we stayed in the basement. But Haley's house had one strange rule. Never open the storage room door. It was a heavy wooden door in the corner of the basement, padlocked from the outside. The first time I asked about it, Haley just shrugged. "Dad says it's full of junk. Old furniture, broken appliances. It's dangerous." I believed her, until that night. Around 2 a.m., the 4 of us were sitting on the floor playing cards when we heard it. A thud from the storage room. Then another. We froze. "Probably the house settling," Haley said quickly, but her voice cracked. The noises didn't stop. Slow dragging sounds, like something heavy being pulled across the floor inside the locked room. Then a knock. 3 sharp knocks from the other side of the door. We screamed and scrambled onto the couch. Haley was pale. "Don't answer it," she whispered. "Answer it?" I said. "Why would we even—" Another knock, louder, this time followed by a voice. A girl's voice. "Let me out, please. It's so dark in here." The room went dead silent. "Haley," I whispered. "What the hell is that?" Her eyes welled with tears. She shook her head furiously. "Don't listen. Don't say anything. Dad said it's a trick." "A trick." The voice came again, softer this time. almost like it was crying. "I know you're out there. I can hear you breathing. Just open the door." One of the other girls, Megan, stood up, trembling but drawn to it like she couldn't help herself. "What if someone's locked inside?" she whispered. Before we could stop her, she reached for the padlock. The second her hand touched it, the voice changed. Low, guttural, wrong. "Yes, open it." We all screamed at her to stop. Haley yanked Megan back so hard they both fell to the floor. The padlock rattled violently as though something on the other side was pulling. The wood creaked and splintered, but somehow it held. We bolted upstairs and banged on her parents' door until her dad came out, furious. He stormed down to the basement, and when he saw the door shaking, his face went white. He didn't say a word, just nailed 2 more locks onto it right in front of us. That was the last time Haley invited anyone over. Within a few months, her family moved out of state without warning. The house still sits at the end of Maple Street, empty. The basement windows are boarded up now, but sometimes if you walk by late at night, people say you can still hear the knocking. When I was 13, I went to a sleepover at my friend Madison's house. There were 6 of us, me, Maddie, her cousin, and 3 girls from school. We spread out our sleeping bags in her basement, the kind of place with cement walls, a single dangling light bulb, and a smell of damp concrete. It should have felt fun, like camping indoors, but that basement never felt right. Even before anything happened, the air was heavy, like the whole place was holding its breath. We played truth or dare until someone got bored and suggested Bloody Mary. Typical sleepover stuff. Maddie grabbed a flashlight and we all crammed into the tiny half bath at the bottom of the basement stairs. The mirror above the sink was spotted and warped, like it hadn't been cleaned in decades. We chanted, giggling, feeling stupid. "Bloody Mary! Bloody Mary!" Nothing happened, of course, except nervous laughter. We went back to the basement floor, unrolled chips, and turned on a movie. That's when the sound started. Not footsteps, not knocking, just scratching. It came from the bathroom door we'd left open. Light from the bulb swung lazily across the frame, and every few seconds we heard it again. Scratch, 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 like fingernails on the other side of the mirror. "Probably a mouse," Maddie said, but she didn't sound convinced. Nobody wanted to check, but Maddie was stubborn. She grabbed the flashlight and went in alone. We heard her footsteps, the faucet creaking, the flashlight beam bouncing around the walls, then silence. "Mads?" I called. No answer. We all looked at each other. Nobody wanted to admit it, but the thought was the same. She should have come back already. Finally, her cousin pushed the bathroom door open. The light was on. The mirror fogged as though someone had just taken a hot shower, but Maddie wasn't there. We tore through the basement calling her name, then upstairs, then outside. Her parents were asleep in their room, oblivious. When we went back to the bathroom, the flashlight Maddie had carried was lying on the floor. Its beam pointed directly at the mirror, and in the glass, for just a second, I swear, I saw all 6 of us staring back, except Maddie's reflection was smiling. She never came back. The police searched for weeks, saying maybe she'd run away. They never found her. But sometimes, when I wake up in the middle of the night and glance at the dark window across from my bed, I think I see her face staring in, always smiling, always waiting. And I've never looked into a mirror in the dark since. When I was 15, I spent the night at my best friend Kayla's house. She lived just outside of town, in one of those old ranch-style homes with creaky floors and wallpaper that hadn't been updated since the 70s. Her parents were gone for the weekend, which felt like freedom. We ordered takeout, watched dumb comedies, and stayed up too late whispering about boys and teachers we hated. It was supposed to be fun, easy. Around midnight, Kayla suggested we set up our sleeping bags in the living room instead of her bedroom. "It's cozier by the fireplace," she said. I didn't mind. We dragged everything down, turned off the lights, and let the glow from the dying embers keep us company. That's when I heard it. A knock. Not on the front door, not on the windows, but from underneath the floorboards. At first, I thought it was the house settling, the way old houses groan at night. But then it came again. 3 slow knocks. Steady, deliberate. Kayla froze, her eyes wide. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. We both held our breath, listening. Silence. Then faintly, the sound of movement directly below us. I tried to laugh it off, but Kayla's face told me she wasn't joking. "There's a crawl space under the house," she whispered. "It's locked. My dad keeps tools down there." We convinced ourselves it had to be an animal, a raccoon maybe. But when we finally drifted off, sometime after 3 a.m., I woke to something far worse. The trapdoor to the crawl space, the one in the laundry room down the hall, was open, and muddy handprints trailed across the linoleum, leading straight toward the living room. I sat up, my throat tightening, heart pounding so loud I thought it might wake Kayla. The prints stopped just a few feet from where we slept, and then vanished. I shook her awake. At first, she thought I was messing with her, but when she saw the trapdoor hanging open, she went pale. We grabbed the cordless phone to call the police, but the line was dead. Kayla swore it had been working earlier. That's when we heard it. Breathing, not ours. Slow, raspy, coming from the shadows of the kitchen. I whispered, "Kayla, don't move." But she was already standing, holding a fireplace poker like it could protect us. We both turned toward the sound. The faint outline of someone crouching near the cabinets was visible in the dark. A man. Thin, dirty, eyes catching just enough light to shine. "Get out of my house," Kayla demanded, her voice cracking. The man didn't move. He just smiled. A wide, toothless grin. And then he whispered, hoarse and low, "Not your house." Before we could react, he lunged forward. Kayla swung the poker, catching him on the shoulder. He screamed, not in pain, but in rage. We bolted, running upstairs and locking ourselves in her bedroom, shoving furniture against the door while he pounded on it from the hallway. We stayed like that until sunrise, too terrified to move. When her parents came home, the house looked normal again. The trapdoor was shut, the muddy handprints gone. We told them everything, but they didn't believe us. They said we were making it up, spooked by movies. 2 weeks later, Kayla's family moved. They never gave a reason. But sometimes, late at night, I think about that grin in the darkness. And I wonder, did he crawl back into the floorboards after we escaped? Or is he still out there, waiting for the next house, the next sleepover, the next pair of girls who won't realize until it's too late that he's already inside?